My husband gave me 2 snakes as pets. The eerie part? Whenever they realize I'm watching, they start mating ferociously, shamelessly. It's enough to make me turn away in a flush of heat. Then, out of nowhere, the feed flickers into my vision like a digital hallucination. Wow. The female lead is a genius. Getting the system to turn them into snakes so they can flaunt their love right under the wife's nose? Iconic. LOL, they're going at it like it's a honeymoon, and the poor side character wife is just standing there playing house. She has no idea he's going to use that snake tail to strangle her tonight. Once she's out of the picture, he inherits her millions and marries the real lead. A classic move. A chill raced down my spine. I didn't hesitate. I pulled out my phone and dialed the number of a local game processor, a man known for his lack of mercy toward reptiles. Hey, Silas? I've got 2 fat ones for you. I hear the meat is great for a winter stew. I was jolted awake by a wet, rhythmic slithering sound, the sound of scales grinding against scales. I opened my eyes to find 2 6-foot, iridescent, spicy noodles dangling from my crystal chandelier. They were entwined in a tight, DNA-like spiral, their heads swaying with a sickening sort of ecstasy, tongues flicking against one another. Their eyes looked drunken, almost human, almost as if they were smiling. A few drops of murky, white fluid dripped from their tails, landing right on the silk of my nightgown. Again. This was the 18th time they'd pulled the stunt in my bedroom. I sat up, frustrated, and called my husband. No answer. I left a voice memo, my voice tight with irritation. Mark, where did you even find these things? They're shameless. They're doing it in my room every single day. Seriously, I don't think they're even snakes. They don't act like them. They don't even care about the cold. Suddenly, the air in front of me distorted. Neon text bled into my retinas. Ha ha ha, congrats, you guessed it. They aren't snakes, honey. That's your husband and your best friend. Surprise. They're hitting the high notes while you're playing pet owner. They aren't your pets, they're your executioners. My girl Bridget is a mastermind. Before she cut ties with the system, she used her last points to get 2 transformation pills. Pure brilliance. They're literally doing it on the wife's clothes for the thrill of it, then making her clean them afterward. It's so twisted, I love it. Bridget is already pregnant. It's time to get rid of the wife. Can't have a baby bump showing in the wedding dress, right? Don't worry, the kill happens tonight. Mark strangles her, shifts back to human form, inherits the estate, and takes Bridget home. Happily ever after. The words left me paralyzed with a bone-deep cold. I looked up at the female snake. She was staring at me with a look of triumphant malice, and for a split second, I saw the shadow of Bridget, my soul sister, my bridesmaid, in those slit pupils. According to the feed, Bridget was the protagonist of this world. She was supposed to be building some grand empire with a supernatural system, but she decided she wanted Mark instead. She wanted my life. The system had abandoned her, but not before giving her the means to replace me. The ice in my veins turned to fire. I swear I could hear Bridget's voice whispering in my mind, "Look at her, Mark. Look at how stupid she is, just watching us. It's so hot." Then, the male snake's tail tightened around her, and I heard Mark's low, familiar rumble. "Let her watch. That's the point. I'm going to fill you with so many legacies while she watches her world burn." I bit my lip until it bled, using the pain to anchor myself. I picked up the phone again. "Silas? You said these 2 were big enough for a feast? They're yours. Come get them." Silas was silent for a long beat. Everyone in our gated community knew we were rivals. I was the animal lover who rescued strays. He was the man who ate anything that crawled, often tormenting the creature before he butchered it. When Mark first brought the snakes home, Silas had smelled them from across the street. He'd offered me $2,000 on the spot. I told him to go to hell. Cassidy. Silas finally rasped. "What kind of game are you playing? Is this a trap? You want them or not? If you don't show up in 10 minutes, I'm calling the guy in the next county over." Wait. Don't you dare give those beauties to anyone else. I'm coming. Keep them locked up. I'm on my way. The moment I hung up, the snakes tumbled from the chandelier. They began to slither across the bed in a frantic, panicked mess. Bridget's shrill voice echoed in the room. "Is she crazy? Why is she selling us?" Mark's voice was more hesitant, analytical. "Relax. We know how much she loves animals. She spent 2 months nursing us like babies. That doesn't just change." "Then what is she doing?" "It's a play. She hates Silas. She's probably setting him up. She's told me a dozen times she wanted to take that man down." "Right. She told me the same thing." Bridget seemed to exhale. Her tail brushed against him again. They started up again, right in front of me. The female snake arched her neck like a concubine seeking favor in an old period drama. "Baby, the antidote from the system arrives today. We need to hurry up and finish her off before we shift back, right?" Mark's yellow eyes drifted toward me. His black tongue flicked out, tasting the air near my face. He didn't speak. Bridget hissed at him. Why aren't you saying anything? Are you getting soft? You still love her, don't you? I knew it. You're just using me. The female snake slithered over to my dresser, her coils wrapping around a silver-framed document. She looked back at Mark, her eyes welling with a strange, reptilian moisture. You kept your anniversary souvenir. You can't bring yourself to kill her. Before she could finish, Mark's tail whipped out like a thunderbolt, shattering the glass. The shards pierced the paper. It felt like they were piercing my heart, too. Everyone knew the story. Mark was the high school dropout who cleaned up his act to impress me. He studied until his eyes bled just to get into the same university. We'd kept our acceptance letters framed together for years, a symbol of his devotion. Now, his tail slammed into my letter with a pure, unadulterated venom. His voice was a ghostly growl. She's terrified of water. I'm going to coil around her throat with this body she loves so much, and I'm going to hold her under until the light leaves her eyes. I stood there, stunned by the sheer depth of his cold-bloodedness. I had been nothing but a savior to him. When his business failed, I bankrolled his lifestyle. When he was depressed, I gave him space and luxury. I had treated him better than I treated myself. Why did he hate me so much? I looked at the feed. I knew he hated her. The more she helped him, the more he loathed her. No alpha male can handle his wife being the breadwinner and the brains. That acceptance letter? It's a reminder that she's better than him. Every cent of her money he spends feels like a slap to his ego. Love died a long time ago. Only resentment remains. Ha ha ha. She deserves it. What's the point of having money if you don't know how to act like a submissive wife? Bridget is smarter. She knows how to stroke a man's ego to get what she wants. I let out a dry, self-deprecating laugh. My kindness was his cage. My generosity was his insult. I walked straight toward the snakes. They thought I was going to stroke them, to apologize. They were motionless as I grabbed them and shoved them into a heavy burlap sack. But as I went to pull the drawstring, Mark's head shot out. He moved with lightning speed, coiling his cold, muscular body around my neck. The icy pressure tightened around my throat. His head rose, his eyes fixed on mine, his tongue lashing against the tip of my nose. His tail tightened around my wrist like a handcuff. I was ready to fight, ready for everything to end right here. But then his eyes shifted. Mark, what are you waiting for? Do it. Bridget screamed from inside the bag. Mark didn't tighten his grip. Instead, he slid his coils down to my abdomen, hovering there as if protecting a kill. She's pregnant. The words hit me like a physical blow. I looked down at my flat stomach. Impossible. Mark had been traveling for months. We hadn't been together in ages. Bridget hissed, her voice dripping with fury. I knew it. She's been playing the loyal wife while sleeping around with some loser. The child is mine. Shock after shock. My mind raced back to a dream I'd had 2 months ago. A dream of a massive serpent coiling around me in the dark, the weight of it crushing the breath from my lungs. I'd woken up drenched in sweat. It wasn't a dream. It was him. Oh, I see. Bridget's voice turned small, wounded. If she's carrying your baby, I'll just go. I know you won't hurt your own blood. I'll leave you 3 to your happy family. Everything we had was just a dream. Mark immediately hooked his tail around the bag to comfort her. Don't do that. When did I say I'd choose her? I only want children from you. Her baby? It's just an ant I haven't stepped on yet. He looked back at me, his eyes dead. We'll send them both to the afterlife together. They can keep each other company on the long walk down. I clenched my fists. At that moment, the doorbell rang. Silas's rough voice boomed through the door. Cassidy, open up. I'm here for my meat. The 2 snakes froze. With a coordinated movement, they slithered out of the bag and back up to the high rafters of the living room, coiling out of reach. I opened the door and let Silas in. They're inside, I said, my voice hollow. Catch them yourself. Do whatever you want with them. I don't want to know. I turned and walked toward the kitchen, closing the door behind me. The feed went into a frenzy. Wait, is she really leaving? Is she actually selling the protagonists? No way. Mark and Bridget are panicking. They were going to kill her the second Silas left, but if she leaves the room, they can't get to her. Oh no. Silas has a machete. Wait. The antidote just arrived. Bridget, quick, eat it. If they turn human now, Silas can't touch them. Eat it. There are only 2 pills. If you miss this window, you stay snakes forever. Antidote? My nerves caught fire. If they shifted back now, I was a dead woman. I spun around and threw the door open. The scene was pure chaos. Silas was wrestling with both snakes at once, his boots skidding on the hardwood. He had a grip on both tails, his teeth gritted with effort. The snakes weren't fighting him, though. They were both lunging in the same direction toward the coffee table. I followed their gaze. 2 small, black spheres sat on the marble surface. The antidote. Just as Mark's jaw opened to snap up the pills, I lunged. My fingers closed over the spheres a split second before he could reach them. Silas let out a grunt of pain as Mark whipped his body around, breaking free and lunging at me. I didn't think. I bolted for the bathroom, slammed the door, and threw the pills into the toilet. I hit the handle. Flush. The swirling water devoured the black pills. I heard Mark's muffled roar of agony from the other side of the door. He slithered under the gap, his head hovering over the toilet bowl in a pathetic, desperate search. I'm going to kill you, Cassidy. I ducked past him just as Silas's snake hook caught him by the neck and hauled him back. I gasped for air, watching as Silas shoved a now comatose Bridget into a heavy canvas bag. She had been beaten senseless against the floor. These things are fighters, Silas spat, wiping sweat from his brow. Good thing they aren't venomous, or I'd be a goner. He pinned Mark's head to the floor with his boot and expertly tied him into a separate bag. What are you going to do with them? I asked. Silas chuckled. Lighting a cigarette doesn't matter to you. You got your money, I got my meat. No refunds. I'm just curious. He squinted through the smoke, kicking the bag containing Bridget. Something this fresh? It's a waste to just chop 'em up. You ever had snake crudo? Sliced thin, chilled on ice. It's crunchier than fish. Much more satisfying. His grin turned predatory. A snake is a long animal. I think I'll start at the tail. Maybe 10 inches a meal. Keep him alive as long as I can. I felt a surge of nausea. Silas just laughed. Inside the bags, I could hear Bridget's muffled screams, calling for her system. But the system was silent. What do we do? Mark, do something. I don't want to die like this. Mark's voice was even more terrified. The antidote. Get your system to send more. It's gone. I used all my points for those two. We're stuck. Bridget wailed. We're going to be snakes forever, but at least we'll be together. Shut up. I'm not staying an animal. And I'm sure as hell not having snake babies with you. This is your fault. You talked me into this. I had a house. I had a wife who was a damn aim, and you whispered in my ear until I hated her. You ruined me. Bridget went silent. The feed, for the first time, turned on Mark. What a scumbag. 2 minutes ago, she was his soulmate. Now she's a ruin? I hope Silas eats him first. I felt a grim sense of satisfaction. Venmo or cash? Silas asked, pulling me back to reality. I reached for my phone, but a shadow darted into the room and snatched it out of my hand. You aren't selling anything. I blinked, taking in the woman standing in front of me. It was my mother, June. Without a word, she pulled a canister of pepper spray from her purse and blasted Silas right in the face. He went down, howling and clutching his eyes. Mom, what are you doing? I called him here. Slap. My mother's hand caught me across the cheek. I heard everything. You're trying to sell these pets? I was stunned. You hit me? You need to wake up. Mark bought these for us. He told me to take care of them until he got back from his trip. He's gone, and the first thing you do is sell his property? You lost your mind. She scrambled to the bags and tore them open. Go on, Red. Run. Mark didn't hesitate. He was out the door and into the shadows of the hallway in a heartbeat. When she reached for the bag with Bridget, I grabbed her arm. Mark betrayed me. I'm getting rid of everything he touched. Ed. My mother stopped, looking at me with pity. Betrayed you? Mark is the most devoted man I've ever met. You're just looking for an excuse to dump him because you're bored. You're just like your father. I was speechless. I'm your daughter. How can you say that? She laughed coldly. You share his blood. You're both cold, calculating snakes. Mark is like me, simple, kind. He can't handle people like you. I have to protect him. My parents' divorce had been ugly. My father left everything to me, not a cent to her. She'd hated me for it ever since. Mark, meanwhile, had spent years playing the perfect son-in-law, calling her mom, and showering her with attention. He built a fortress around her ego. Silas stumbled out of the house, cursing and blinded. I'm coming back for the other one, Cassidy. You owe me. You fucking monster, Silas. That's robbery, my mother screamed, chasing him out. The house went quiet. 5 minutes later, I heard footsteps. Mom, give it up, I sighed. You can't win against Silas. Besides, I already promised. I stopped. It wasn't my mother. It was Mark. I rubbed my eyes, thinking it was a hallucination. But there he was. Mark. Human. He was soaking wet and smelled faintly of sewage. He gave me that trademark, boyish smile. Honey, I'm home. Things got a little messy. I'll explain everything in a bit. He walked straight into the master bathroom to shower. I sank onto the sofa, my legs turning to jelly. The feed was cheering. You have to hand it to him. The man swam through a sewer pipe to get to those pills in the septic tank. Dedicated. The pills. He'd retrieved them from the waste. A cold shudder ran through me. Just then, my mother returned, sweating but triumphant. Think you can outsmart me? She smirked. You got the snake back? It's Mark's pet. Of course I did. You're so greedy. Cassidy, your husband buys you a gift and you sell it behind his back? You have no soul. She carefully placed the bag containing Bridget into a glass terrarium and went to look for the other one. Mark walked out, a towel wrapped around his waist. Mom, don't worry about it. You've done enough. Go home and rest. My mother beamed. You're back. This girl said you cheated on her. Tell her she's crazy. Mark met my eyes, his expression soft and manipulative. How could I? I've been working 20-hour shifts on this business trip. I haven't even looked at another woman. In my eyes, there's no one better than Cassidy. The lie was so effortless it made me sick. I wanted to scream, to tell her he was a literal snake. But who would believe me? To the world. He was the doting husband who sent gifts home every month. But I knew the real play was coming. I came back early, Mark continued, because I heard a rumor. I heard Cassidy found someone else, that she's pregnant with another man's child. I didn't want to believe it. Mom, what do you think? What? My mother whirled on me. You cheated on him? You shameless brat. Before I could move, she grabbed my wrist, her fingers pressing into my pulse. She was a retired diagnostic nurse. She knew exactly what she was looking for. After a moment, she began to shake with rage. You really did it. How could I raise such a disgusting daughter? She raised her hand to strike me again, but Mark caught her wrist. Mom, please. It's done. My mother wept. Mark, I'm so sorry. I didn't watch her closely enough. Please, give her another chance. I'll take her to the clinic tomorrow to handle the situation. Mark played the saint perfectly. He shook his head. The child is innocent. I won't be responsible for ending a life. Let her have it. And as for us, we don't have to divorce. I love her. I'll raise the child as my own. We can go back to how things were. My mother was moved to tears. What a man. What a saint. She shoved me apologize. Swear to him right now that you're done with the other man. Other man? I almost laughed. The baby was the product of a literal nightmare. When I didn't speak, Mark sighed. Cassidy, do you even know who the father is? He stepped closer, wrapping an arm around me. It's okay. I forgive you. Just stay home and focus on the pregnancy. I'll take over the family business and the estate. I'll manage your father's legacy, so you don't have to stress. There it was. The grab for the money. My mother caught on instantly. She pulled me aside and hissed. He's giving you a lifeline. He'll take the bastard child, but you have to pay the price. Transfer the assets to his name. It's the only way you'll ever be happy. I looked at her, wondering if she was even human. In the terrarium, Bridget was frantic, thumping her head against the glass. The feed was a war zone. Mark, you absolute dog. He's dumping Bridget because she's stuck as a snake and has no money. He's going for the gold. I think he's trying to provoke Cassidy into killing Bridget for him. 2 birds, 1 stone. God, I hope Cassidy isn't that weak. Don't be a pick-me for a guy who smells like a sewer. I listened closely. I could hear Bridget sobbing hiss. I'm carrying your baby too, Mark. You promised you'd leave her. You promised. Mark walked over to the tank and reached in, stroking the snake's head. Bridget calmed instantly, looking at him with pathetic devotion. I knew you still cared, she seemed to say, before turning to hiss at me. I saw my opening. Kill the snake, I said to Mark. Make it into a stew, and I'll sign everything over to you. Mark's eyes narrowed. He wasn't expecting this. Usually, I'd be crying, defending my honor. The snake has nothing to do with this, he said smoothly. I'm willing to tolerate a human child that isn't mine. Can't you tolerate a simple pet? Then we're done, I said coldly. We'll let the judge decide the assets. I'm filing for divorce. Mark's face darkened. You're the one who cheated. You think a judge is going to favor you? She's right, my mother added. Where are you going to find a man this good, ever again? Last chance, Mark. Kill it, or get out. Mark took a deep breath. The feed predicted his next move. He's going to do it. He thinks Bridget is useless now. He's a shark. I watched Bridget. Her body was tightening, sensing the betrayal. Mark didn't hesitate. He leaned down and kissed the snake's head one last time. Bridget went limp, mesmerized. Then I pulled up my bank app and showed him the balance. You'd rather have a snake than this? Fine. Your choice. The sight of the numbers changed something in him. Greed overrode everything. He grabbed Bridget's head and slammed it against the floor of the tank. Twice. It's just a snake, Cassidy. I'll call Silas to take it away. Anything for you. Bridget let out a sound that was half hiss, half scream, her body thrashing in agony. I shoved her into a bag and swung it against the wall to finish the job. Mark gave me a nauseatingly fake smile. See? I did what you asked. Now about that transfer. I looked at the patches of iridescent scales beginning to form on his neck. I'll sign, I said, as soon as you prove you're still a man. Mark looked confused. What are you talking about? I'm right here. My mother gasped, pointing at his throat. Mark, honey, what's happening to your skin? Mark ran to the mirror. Within seconds, thick, pebbled scales were erupting across his chest and face. My mother screamed and fainted as Mark's jaw began to unhinge, his tongue lengthening into a fork. The pills, I whispered. I crushed them before I flushed them. You didn't get enough. You're glitching, Mark. Mark looked at me in horror. You knew. He didn't get to finish. His clothes suddenly went limp, collapsing into a heap on the floor. A massive red-tailed boa emerged from the collar of his shirt. He lunged at me, his mouth wide. A hook suddenly caught him by the neck. Silas was back. This one's even bigger, Silas grinned. Dinner's going to be a feast tonight. Mark's tail whipped around, coiling around Silas's torso, squeezing with lethal force. Silas dropped the hook, his face turning purple. I grabbed the hook and pulled Mark back with everything I had. Cassidy. Mark's voice echoed in my head. We have years of history. You're going to let him eat me? If you keep me, I'll stay with you forever. I'll kill Bridget for you. Just save me. Bridget, barely conscious in her bag, let out a mournful hiss of betrayal. I smiled. If I keep you, what's to stop you from killing me in my sleep? I'll let you pull my teeth. I'll stay in the tank. I won't fight. Think of the baby. Do you want our child to grow up without a father? Fine, I said. Deal. He let go of Silas. Silas, terrified of the demon snake, scrambled out of the house and didn't look back. I picked up a pair of heavy pliers and walked toward Mark. He opened his mouth obediently. He wasn't stupid. He knew that if he killed me now, he'd be hunted down. Being my pet was his only chance at survival. After I pulled every single tooth, he coiled submissively at my feet. I'll do whatever you want, honey. I'm so sorry I listened to Bridget. If I could go back, I'd choose you every time. He actually started to cry huge, reptilian tears. In the tank, Bridget was losing it. The jealousy turned her face into a mask of rage. She slammed against the glass, screaming that she'd kill us both. I walked over and turned the tank's heater to its lowest setting. Within minutes, she was sluggish and weak. You're almost a real snake now, Bridget. Congratulations. Mark slithered over. Kill her, Cassidy. Do it for us. Bridget found the strength for one last thud against the glass. I turned the heater back up, then grabbed Mark and threw him into the tank with her. Wait, what are you doing? I don't have teeth. She'll kill me. I smiled at them through the glass. For 2 months, you two were inseparable. You flaunted your true love right in my face. I was so moved by your devotion that I decided you should be together forever. No. I locked the lid. The two snakes immediately began to tear at each other, a mess of scales and blood. My mother woke up and became hysterical at the sight of the snakes. I had her committed to a private sanitarium for exhaustion. Life went back to normal. Every morning, I'd find fresh blood on the glass. Mark and Bridget were evenly matched. Neither could kill the other, but they spent every second inflicting pain. Then, I started bringing men home. I'd sit on the sofa with a date, sipping wine, doing nothing more than chatting. But in the tank, Mark would go into a frenzy, slamming his toothless gums against the glass. I'd deliberately lean closer to my date, brushing my hand against his. Thump, thump, thump. My dates would get creeped out and leave. Mark was smug. Look at those losers you bring home, he'd hiss. If one doesn't work, there's always another, I'd laugh. I'm young, rich, and single. Why should I be alone? Bridget would laugh at him from the corner. He's replacing you, Mark. She's going to do everything we did, right in front of you. How does it feel? Shut up. The fighting would start again. One night, after my shower, I found the tank lid slightly ajar. Bridget was lying still, her head covered in blood. Dead? Or just waiting? And Mark was gone. The feed was buzzing. Did he go back into the sewer? I'm so confused. Who does he actually love? He only loves himself. He wanted the wife's money, and the mistress's ego stroking. Now he has nothing. Is he going to shift back and try to kill her? I hope not. I didn't wait to find out. I poured a gallon of bleach down every drain and toilet in the house. Then I decided to end the show. I called the fire department and told them 2 dangerous stray snakes had entered my home. We found Mark in the community's septic main. He was bloated and sluggish, having gorged himself on God knows what. The firefighters put both snakes in a transport crate to be released into the deep wilderness. I watched them go. A quick death was too kind. I wanted them to see how true love held up in the brutal reality of the wild, toothless and broken. 3 weeks later, I filed a missing persons report for Mark. The only witness was my mother, who kept telling the cops he turned into a serpent and slithered away. They put her on more medication. I thought I'd never see him again. Until the police called they'd found a body. They took me to the morgue. The face had been partially dissolved by some kind of High acidity, digestive fluid. The limbs were gone, melted into the torso. The feed explained it all. The day after they were released, Mark had shifted back into a human. But Bridget was stuck realizing she was losing him forever. Her love finally broke. The predator took over. She had constricted him while he was in his weakest, half-human state. She had tried to swallow him whole. By the time they were found, she was curled up in a ditch half-dead from the effort of trying to digest a man twice her size. The sight had traumatized the hikers who found them. The authorities had cut the snake open to retrieve the remains. Bridget was tossed into the woods for the scavengers. I looked down at the mangled, pathetic remains of the man I once thought I loved. "Burn it," I said, "and throw the ashes in the trash." Once the paperwork was done, I went to the clinic. I cleared out every trace of Mark's legacy from my body. From now on, I only belong to myself.
Moral of the story: if your pets act like they pay rent, your husband smells like betrayal, and your best friend suddenly gives main character energy, don't ask questions, just flush the antidote and secure the bag. Or even shorter for the comments section. Trust your gut. If it hisses back, it's already too late. And the real takeaway: never let a man who can turn into a snake handle your finances.